Hello and welcome to episode 135 of the Pos-cast. Rabbi Shmuel Posner, myself, Seth Hellman. Rabbi, how are we doing today?
Baruch Hashem, we're good. So today, the people will know. I know when you're going to post this, but you're probably going to post it on the regular Wednesday time. But we're doing it a day early because I'm going to New York tomorrow because I'm giving a little class or whatever you want to call it, Manhattan. So I'm hoping to meet some alumni there. A lot of
Why didn't you
alumni.
just stay in New York?
I don't want to explain it to you. Anyway. So, of course, I was in New York on Sunday, came back on Monday. Today's Tuesday.
Wait, you came back yesterday and then you're traveling down?
Tomorrow. What's the matter?
You really should have just stayed.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I take the garbage out. No one takes the garbage out here. I came home to take the garbage out. It's important.
For a 4.5 hour trip to take the garbage out.
No, it's 8 hours. So I'm going back to New York.
That's true. Yeah, round trip. Sure.
But in Noah's Ark, there was 3 floors, one for humans, one for animals, one for garbage. Garbage is important. So, this will make you laugh even more. I went to New York after Shabbos.
You
So we
weren't down for Shabbos, you just went for Sunday.
Right. The program they had on Motzei Shabbos, Saturday night, I listened in the car as we drove.
Mm-hmm.
Got there, pretty much went to sleep. Actually, I think I went to 770 to see what's going on. Nothing much. A lot of people, but nothing really happening. I came back, went to sleep, woke up in the morning. Went to New Jersey for the banquet. That was like an hour and a half drive there, a 2-hour drive back. Hung out a bit in 770. Oh, they completed a Sefer Torah. 1984. No. Before 1981, the Rebbe started this campaign of writing Torah scrolls for unity of the Jewish people. And how would that be done is that every letter would be owned by a different person. So first it was children's Sefer Torah, so letters of Sefer Torah for children. And then later the Rebbe came and said, make Torah scrolls for everybody. You know how many letters there are in Torah? 304,805.
Okay.
So that's how many Jews get united when you write a Sefer Torah. So they completed the 11th Torah. That means that so far about 3.5 million people have been united. 3.5 Jews are united through the unity of the Torah. Everybody owning a different letter in the Torah. So they had this thing outside 770. Like, you do hakafis? You had a whole stage and the whole thing, blah, blah, blah. And they stayed for that for a while. Then went into that scene. So I'm here to report my experience, even though I was only there on Sunday pretty much. Mm. And you know what? Sometimes people go to conferences to hear lectures and stuff like that. And they always say that the main thing is the networking, the people you meet. Are you with me?
Yes, I am with you. I'm trying to find a group photo.
I know. You see, I can tell you're distracted. Anyway, I just want to talk to you. I'll ignore you and talk to everybody else who's listening. We'll listen. So the main thing is, it's like the people that you meet, because there's all these shluchim from around the world, and everybody's. Yeah. So I was walking to the mikveh Sunday morning, like about 5:30, 6 o'clock. Yeah. And there's a lot of people, relatively speaking, for that time of day, or early or late night, whatever you want to call it. A lot of people, people walk on my site. So a guy walks by. I said, "Good morning, Tim." He said, "Good morning." He said, "Did you say good morning because you know who I am?" I said, "No." So I think he knew me. I said, "Who are you?" I couldn't tell you. He was wearing a coat, a little crunched up. And he told me his name, like, "Oh, okay. He said his name and moved on because when you're at that time, no one's standing on the street corner talking. Anyway, so the people that so there's so many different people that are there, and it was just incredible the different. You hear things, you learn things. So I'm here. So I wrote notes here about a bunch of people that I met. So there's one guy, no chronicle, and I was there. So I went to the banquet, which was in New Jersey. Oh, I got to tell you about the guy who was sitting next to on the bus. You remember the guy sitting in that bus last year? I ended up going to Las Vegas. It was in the Pos-cast.
Yeah.
So last year, I sat down next to the shliach in Las Vegas who needed a speaker to come to 3 weeks later to come to Las Vegas. So I went. That was that. So someone said to me, "You think you're going to say another story on the bus?" I said, "No, Hashem runs the world. I don't expect it. I don't create these things. If it happens, it happens." So we'll get to the bus story in a second. I'll tell you the bus story now. So I wanted to daven mincha before I went to the banquet because then they stand in the hallways and they daven. I feel like daven in 770, which is pretty much of a circus anyway. But I would daven there, and then it came. So I got onto one of the last buses, and I get onto the bus, and there's a guy sitting in the aisle. There's two people. There's an aisle seat and a window seat. The second seat, the guy's in the aisle seat, and I'm like, okay, I'll go sit in the window seat. But that means the guy has to stand up. And he just turned to my right, and there's an empty seat on the aisle. So I sat down there. So the guy sitting next to me was a relatively young guy. And I don't know, he was learning, and I was learning also. I had, was learning Chumash or Rambam, whatever I was doing. And so he didn't really talk to like 15 minutes or half an hour before he got to the place. And so I turned to him, I say, "So where are you from?" And he tells me, "This little town in Mexico." I said, "Oh, it's a small town, but there's not a very big Jewish community, but it's very high class people that live there." It's like, okay, fine. And then I say to him, "Oh," I pull out my phone because there's this guy who sort of lives in Boston, but sort of lives there now. He went to dental school, became a dentist, then became like a gum doctor or something, root canal guy. He's a root canal guy. And then he made enough money doing that he bought some real estate. And then he bought a furniture store, was doing that for a while. And now he moved pretty much to this place in Mexico. So I pull out my phone and I look and to see where it says Puerto La Verta, something like that. There's a V in there, something like that. So I say,
Puerto Vallarta?
Yeah. Vallarta, yeah. So I say, "Oh, do you know this place?" He said, "Yeah. I know. I actually, the shliach there was the one that brought me back into Yiddishkeit." I said, you're from California. I forget where he's from. I said, "How did you get there?" He said, "Oh, I was like going to surf and have a good time." And I met this guy, and he got me into Yiddishkeit. And I went to yeshiva, and now I came back to not far from this guy to run the Chabad house there. I said, "Oh, maybe you know this guy," and I told him his name, Steve Elbaz. He says, "Oh, I think he's partners with my father." I said, "Oh no." I said, "Oh, this guy is building a building there." He said, "Oh, I think he's the partner with my father," and he takes a picture and he sends it to this guy Elbaz, and yeah. So here I'm sitting next to a guy on the bus.
His daughter at BU when I was there. Elbaz sounds like a very familiar last name.
Elbaz is a popular Moroccan name. His daughter was not in BU. It's like Smith to America, to Moroccans. Anyway, so that was the Hashgacha Pratis on the bus, which is, I thought it was crazy, amazing.
Right,
that was on what?
Where are you in the photo? There's too many heads for me to figure it out.
You're not going to be able to make it big enough.
Where are you, like, in terms of, it's like 770?
On the left side. On the left side, it's like so not on the ground, and not the first row off the ground, but the second row off the ground. I'll try to find it. I know who I stand next to, but I can't. It has to be much bigger to be able to see it.
You know what I can do is, I bet you I can.
Okay, we move on. Take that picture off. We're not dealing with that now. So here's a fascinating story, and I was actually from a shliach from Rochester who leads the Sikha learning that we do every week. And I don't know why, I'm trying to remember why he told me this story, but this is the story he told me. He told me about another shliach who actually was a guest on the Pos-cast, Mendel Matasov. And he tells the story. I hope I get it right. I asked him 3 times to tell me the story. His father was born in Russia. His father never saw the previous Rebbe and never saw the Rebbe, meaning to say that he was born, probably was born, like the Frierdiker Rebbe left Russia in 1927. So I guess he was born shortly before then, but he never saw the Frierdiker Rebbe. And once Frierdiker Rebbe left, he went to America, and that was the end of that. And then when he got out of Russia, he went to France, and from France, the Rebbe told him to go on shlichus to Morocco. So I think it was like the early 60s that he finally was going to come to New York to see the Rebbe. So his mother had a sister lived in Michigan. So she wanted to send a picture to her sister of the family. I think they had 2 or 3 kids at the time. So she arranged to have a photographer come take a family photo of the mother and whatever 3 kids. And when her husband was going to America, she'd take the photo and bring it to my sister so she'll see the family. So he comes to the United States, and he's going to Yechidus to the Rebbe. He comes into the Rebbe, and during the Yechidus, the Rebbe says to him, by the way, do you happen to have a picture of your family? And he had the picture in his pocket. He said, yeah. He took it out and gave it to the Rebbe, and the Rebbe said, is this for me? Like, can I keep it? And so it was intended for his sister-in-law in Michigan, but of course, the Rebbe said, can I keep it? He said, of course, yeah, yes, you can have it, yeah. A couple of days later, he went to visit the Rebbe's mother, Rebbe Simchana, and she said to him, oh, I saw the picture of your family, which meant that the Rebbe had took the picture. Now, I don't know if the Rebbe's mother knew his family in Russia or not, but that part he didn't tell me. Possibly, yes, I don't know. But I mean, anyway, regardless, but the fact that the Rebbe took the picture and showed it to his mother is pretty incredible. And that's just, so these are the little stories you pick up when you're there. So I'm standing in 770, and I don't remember who I was talking to, but this guy comes over, young guy. When I say young, I mean like early 20s, early to mid 20s, young. A chassid. He says to me, I listened to your podcast. I don't know if he said Pos-cast. I listened to your podcast. Like, really? Like, who are you? What do you do? So he says he's a teacher there in the local yeshiva. His family became Lubavitch because some shluchim, got introduced his parents to Yiddishkeit and to Chabad. And he said, I really want to go on shlichus. But right now, I'm this. And I'm having this little conversation with this 25-year-old kid. He's married, 25-year-old young man. And he listened to the Pos-cast. Isn't that that's pretty wowish, no? I said, oh. Anyway, that was one little interaction. Then there's a family, a Lubavitch family, the Marcus family. So this guy's standing there, and somehow I said something to him, and he said, oh, you remember me? I said, yeah. So his family lived in Miami. When I was in Miami in 1979, 1980, his family was there. His father was a teacher in the school. So we knew his father because we were learning. We were older Bachram, but we knew the school teachers. They were part of the Lubavitch community there. It wasn't such a big community back then. So he said, "Oh, you remember me?" And he was a kid, and we had a summer camp there, and I was part of the staff of the summer camp. So I knew I knew the kids. I actually confused him with his older brother or his younger brother because they look exactly the same. They're very distinct. You see him, you'll understand it's very distinct, the facial features and all that. But so I just thought about it later. I haven't spoken to the guy. I knew him in 1980 as a kid. That means I haven't spoken to him. Since 1980, and here he is. Then he was a kid, but the facial features don't change. Yeah, his beard is a little bit white and there's something. And I realized later on, like, I haven't spoken to the guy in like, what, 45 years? And that's why he was surprised. And I always remember it because to me, like, I remember this kid, I remember the family very well. So we got into a whole discussion about different things. And I said to him, I said, your father was a very impressive person. He still is. They moved to California eventually. I said, he was a very, very nice person, a very kind person, a very approachable person. But he also, but he also had, he was also very, he had a way of criticizing things that he felt weren't right. And I said that, he smiled. It's his father, he knows his father. So then I said to him, we started talking about Bachram going on Shichas. The Rebbe sent us to go to Miami, to this yeshiva. And I said, I don't know, I can't say this is what the Rebbe intended or anything like that. Who am I to say that? But it seems to me that one of the things that definitely was accomplished is that we as 19-year-old, 20-year-old yeshiva boys were sent to a community out of New York. We got to see Jewish communities, and that like was our training grounds to be able to later on move to a city and establish Chabad houses or work with students. You know, each one of us, each of our group is doing, you know, is a different place. We're all over the place. So I think that, you know, it was for the benefit of the community, it was for the benefit for the schools. We learn with the kids. We have programs with the children. But I think that, and he says, you know, I went on shlichus to Australia. I was sent to yeshiva in Australia. When we came there, the rabbi had a farbrengen with us. He said, I only remember one line of the entire farbrengen. He said like this. He said, do you think we need you, Bachram, to come here? Because Australia has a relatively solid Lubavitch community. So he says, do you think we need you, Bachram, to come here to make a speech in shul for us? Do you think we need you here to teach us what the Rebbe means in one of his talks? The reason the Rebbe sent you is so that you will learn how to become a shliach. And then, so we're here to train you. You're not here to teach us. And it's so amazing because that's exactly what I was thinking for so many years. And here this guy said, and he said, this guy said, we're Bachram here. We're the Rabbi Shluchim. And this guy basically like put us in our place. Like, we don't need you here. You need us to train you so you can later go on shlichus. And that was just very fascinating little interaction there. Yeah. Then, again, this is probably, I don't know when it was, but Levi Goldstein, I've spoken about him before. He was the guy that got a serious case of COVID during the COVID situation. And he ended up, and I remember his son was talking, you know, people who aren't being so careful, and his son, like, very emotionally posted a voice message, like how sick his father is, and like people should be careful. Anyway, he ended up in this rehab in New Jersey was started and run by alumni of Harvard University Medical School, but he lived a block away from the Chabad. So his three brothers, Howie Lebowitz, Chaim Lebowitz. Anyway, so this guy got to know Rabbi Goldstein, got to know this Dr. Lebowitz, and I guess my name came up, whatever. So, and once I heard that he was the doctor, so I always knew this Rabbi Goldstein. I never really talked to him, but then for some reason I introduced myself and and he told me, yeah, I made up with the doctor that we're going to learn Tanya together. I don't know if he did or didn't, and so every time he sees me, he gives me this big smile. He's like a first grade teacher, like for the past 50 years. His father is very well known, Uncle Yossi. He has all kinds of stories that he for kids and books. Everybody in the world, in the Lubavitch world, knows Uncle Yossi. That was his father. And he put out recordings, I think, of Chumash and Yiddish. Okay, he's an amazing guy who perfectly fits to be a first grade teacher forever. And so I was talking to him, and I never have, you know, every time I see him, I give him a smile and hello, and that's it. And I said to him, you know, you're always so happy. He said, I want to tell you something. I was in a coma for 30 days. I was unconscious. He said, I woke up. My body didn't work. I'd lost 30 pounds. You know, we got COVID. I'm lying there in bed. And this realization that I'm alive made me so happy. I don't know where it came from. I got this sense of joy. And you see, he's always smiling. It was incredible. I'm telling you, just to drive to New York for that 30-second conversation where this guy is exuding this idea that being alive is the greatest blessing that there can be, and he's so happy about it. I was like, it was amazing. It just, I don't know. I'm just sharing this with you because I think it's so deep and so powerful. And this was not some conference on happiness. This is bumping into Levi Goldstein in 770. It's amazing, 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 amazing. Then where was I? Oh, I was at the Ohel. So there's a guy, his name is Kutner. I don't know what his first name is. He runs an organization in Israel for wounded citizens, soldiers. Unfortunately, there's enough. God, Hashem should help us. There's enough wounded Israelis that can use, and so he supports them. Like if something happens, he'll go and meet the people, and he'll stay with them, like for years. So what happens is that when Americans, or I guess anybody, want to go to Israel, they'll contact him, and he'll take you to visit these people. Some of them are in the hospital, some in their homes. This can be orphans, this can be widows, there can be just people that are injured. And the only condition is that you have to fundraise in America and bring money, because that's what I do. He says, what I do is I provide them with things that they need. I bring them gifts, on the holidays, or if they're, anything, any practical thing. He said sometimes the person has to get to the hospitals, no transportation. I'll pay for taxis to get to them. So I'll be very happy to go there, and I'll buy gifts that you can bring it to them. So it was about, I don't know how many years ago, 10 years ago? Yeah, probably 10 years ago, about that. So David Sildorf, who was a BU alumni that I stayed in touch with after he graduated and then went to law school. And when he finally got engaged, he got engaged to an Israeli girl. Her family had moved to California, lives in California. And somehow he met her, but the wedding was going to be in Israel. He said to me, Rabbi, you come into Israel to officiate my wedding. This was, Rosh Hashanah that year started on Sunday night. His wedding was Thursday. Thursday was the wedding. I said, I got to be back in Boston for Rosh Hashanah. And to get back for Rosh Hashanah, I got to be back before Shabbos. So I'm going to come officiate at your wedding, and then I got to get straight to the airport to catch a flight back to the United States. And that's what happened. Officiated the wedding, one quick dance, boom, to the airport. That was the time when that weekend, Shimon Peres had passed away a couple of days before. And the funeral was going to be on Friday. And President Obama was flying in. And I was so worried about the airport. The thing was, the funeral was Friday morning. So anybody important wasn't flying in at midnight on Thursday night. So when it came to the airport, it was empty, because everybody who was coming was there. Anybody leaving for Rosh Hashanah had gone. It was whatever. Anyway. So one of the things I said to him, I said, David, we're going to Israel. I'm going to come there. The wedding was Thursday. I said, I'll come there I'll get there. I'll leave Boston on Monday. I'll get there on Tuesday. So Tuesday, Wednesday, we can do some stuff. I said, what we're going to do? We're going to go with this guy. I'm going to contact him, and he'll take us. And he had two other friends with him, and we'll go visit these people. What better way of preparing for your wedding than visiting people that can, you're getting married that week, and we'll make them happy, and we'll bring them some gifts. And so that's what he did. So I did a little fundraising here, and a couple of $1,000 brought along, and he took us to these different places. I remember we went to a hospital. There was one guy there. It was a chassid, and he was wounded, but I don't remember who guy, but he was so happy. He was we thought we were coming there to encourage him. He was full of excitement about life, whatever. I don't know. Then there was a woman and her daughter who had been on a bus that there was an explosion and something happened there. And then these are, I'm saying in a positive way, it was very tragic. The other one was, at that point, there were stabbings in Jerusalem, and there was a rabbi there who taught in one of the yeshivas there, and they took his life. And so we went to visit his wife. So they're living in a proper house. that woman and daughter living in an apartment, a small apartment. This was like a proper house. You see the shelves with the svarim and the kids, and it happened like a year or two before then. And we just like sitting and talking to her. And again, the same thing, just seeing the strength and the resilience of a woman whose husband just like murdered like that. It was incredible. Anyway, I said to him, yes, he remembered me. He didn't remember who he went to see, because he's been doing this for 10 years after. He's brought hundreds and hundreds and thousands of people. But I told him how I remember exactly who it was. He said, let me tell you guys a story. He said, I'm flying back on Wednesday. I have a wedding. I'm officiating a wedding. Oh no. The past Wednesday, he's officiating a wedding. I think he also arrived like after Shabbos, because on Wednesday night he had a wedding in Israel. Who was the wedding? He said there was a guy, an Israeli soldier, who got wounded. He went to visit him. A year later, he goes to this home of this girl who also got some kind of attack, was wounded. He got to know them all, and he stayed with them for years and years and years. Then there was some event for they make a party or whatever it was, and these two happened to sit next to each other. And the guy says, I'm here because I know Rabbi Kutner, and she says, I'm here because I know Rabbi Kutner. That was their connection. And fast forward, they got married. And it's incredible, because he invests so much energy into these people, and then they want to marry. Like this little miracle stops in there. So at the banquet, there's like there's 4,000 people. It was a huge, huge place. So there was an alumni, Gideon Rayplatt, who lived in the Chabad house on the 6th floor, went to BU Law School, lives in Miami now. He's going to be there. He's actually there with his son. I used to come, meet him at his table. So I got to eat. There's letters and numbers. He was B13. But the program's going on, so the lights are dim. I'm like, I can't see the table numbers. I figure, so you go in B and you start going down the numbers till I finally got to him. And I couldn't see the table, so I'm standing on the side there, and I sent a message, like there was like a fountain, like a place to wash your hands, but it says on a washing station. I said, I sent him a message, I'm somewhere near your table, I'm standing at the washing station. So I figured he'd look around, he'd find it. And the program's going on, I'm standing there, and I'm like, I don't know, for some reason I got this fit of like a thing of I got upset, I got depressed, like what's going on? I'm here, I'm looking at this guy, I can't find him, and the program's going on, I can't hear it, and this thing's going, I don't know, I got into like this mood. And I'm standing, and this guy walks by, a small guy, he has a beard, not wearing a hat, and he says, "Oh, you're Rabbi Posner." I said, "Yeah." He said, 20 years ago, I had Shabbat dinner in your Chabad house, in the basement there. I said, "Yeah, like what happened?" He said, "I was living in my car. I was like, I had nothing. And you brought me in and gave me a beautiful Shabbos dinner. I don't remember if he said he stayed or he didn't stay here. But he said, it was so nice. Thank you." He said, "I'm married. I have 8 children. I'm not going to tell you where he lives. He lives in the Northeast somewhere. I sponsored the mikveh they built for the congregation." And he walked away. I asked him his name twice, but it was loud. I don't remember his name. But it's like, oh my God, thank you, Hashem, thank you. Like, just like little, it was incredible. And then I walk over to the table. This you're gonna like. I walk over to the table, and so he found. So 2 minutes later, Gideon came over to me, and he said, "Oh, let's walk to your table." Walk to the table, and there's this man sitting there. He looks up at me, and he says, "Oh." And so everybody has a name tag, which is good for me because I don't ask names. I grab the name tag. Look at the name tag, Mr. Marks, Kayla's father.
Oh, look at that!
Like, oh man, he stands up. I give him the biggest hug, and he also gives a big hug. He's like a beer hug. It's a big guy. And I was like, I didn't know who he was there. And he says, "Oh, Kayla told me I should go find you." Da 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 da. So that was All right, for those listening, Kayla is a BU grad. She graduated 2 years ago, moved to Israel.
Former president of the Chabad.
She was president of Chabad Jewish Organization at Boston University. She lived across the street from the Chabad House. She was a stalwart member of the Chabad House, very, very loyal and just an amazing person. She moved to Israel. She finished her master's degree. So I was like, again, like, oh my, it's so beautiful, so amazing. Yeah, that's that.
Okay, I have a better photo now. We can zoom in more.
Oh, you and your photo.
We gotta see you in the. We gotta see you.
You're not going to see me. Okay, so the left side, can you make the left side bigger?
When we say the left side, are you saying like if 770 is behind you, left side, or
No,
if we're
I'm facing the
770?
photo. I'm facing the photo. It's on the left side.
Okay. Yes, I'm zooming in now. I don't know how far I need to go here though.
Hold on one
I mean
second.
left and right. Because I can
Move it to
continue
the
to make this bigger, but I
move
don't
it to the
wanna
right.
lose
Move
our-
it to the right. Move it to the right.
Right. So you're
No, the
more
other
like
way.
in
The other way. The other way. The other way. The other way.
It's also possible that the photo doesn't
Keep
go
on
far
going. Keep
enough
on
to the
going.
left.
Don't talk
This
so
is as
much.
far to the left as it goes.
Okay, let me look now.
Because like there are more people past this. It's just that this particular photo only goes this
Right,
far.
right, right. No, but that. Okay, let me just see over here.
How old do you have to be to get the actual seats? Like, what's the deal with
Oh,
those?
I don't even try. Um, so what happened was I came there and I saw my son-in-law Zalman Chaim, and he was standing there with his two brothers, and so I'm standing there, and the guy who's standing right above me is Yitzi Lowenthal, son of Tali Lowenthal from London. He's a shliach in Amsterdam, I think. Maybe one of those funny countries. And we started having this whole conversation. He says, "Oh, about having." I told him that Mendy's here at Northeastern, and he shows up BU. We started having a whole conversation about having your children working with you. So that was, another valuable interaction that I just happened to be because I happened to be standing next to him. You know what? I'm going to find the photo. I'm going to find where I am, and we'll have it for next week. Beli Neder. No, it's not. It's definitely not here. Okay.
So you're all the way over. You didn't even get in the middle.
No.
stand.
It's like I walked in and it was like, yeah. I know exactly. I know pretty much where it was because I wanted to.
So
yeah,
are you more in front of like the shul area then?
Where you have it, it's like there's like two sides, and then there's there's the back part, and then there's the sides, the flanks. So I'm here along the back side. I'm right, pretty much near the beginning. That's how I remember. I try to keep it in mind.
You're not.
So yeah, so I'll have time later. I'll look it over. Anyway, the bottom line is this: that it was.
I figured you were done looking.
Yeah,
I can bring it back.
So when I went to daven Shachris at the oil, so there's this guy, he has a white beard. And I seem to remember him. And again, it was the same thing. He was a bacher in 770 when I was in 770. We're talking about 1982. And he was an Israeli. There were a few Israeli guys. And I used to like to drive them crazy. And it was a fun way. We were all together. And he says, "Oh, you were very loud, you and Shimon Hecht." and you used to stand near me when the Rebbe came in for Torah reading. The Rebbe come for Torah reading Monday and Thursday, come to the upstairs shul. And I remember standing right next to this guy. So it was just like, and again, I haven't spoken to the guy in 40 years. And here we are, we're having this little interaction right there in the aisle. It brought back these very powerful I can't call them memories. So memories like are distant scenes that I have in my mind that were so impactful. Being with the Rebbe, being there at Torah reading, and so it was definitely
Are you
worth.
wearing a black jacket or more like a navy blue?
You're not going to be able to tell. It wasn't black, but that's that. Okay.
Well, I'm just because there is someone who's got a fairly similar side profile to you, but I don't think the beard or the chin looks right.
No, I was standing straight. There was no side profile. Anyway,
Well, because
okay.
you're in this photo, the person is talking to the people behind him. The guy that was behind you, is he a young guy?
Yeah, pretty much.
Let's see, maybe
Okay, no, we're
maybe
not wasting people's time looking at this photo now.
just wait, just wait, just look right here, real quick.
Okay. Where am I looking?
Right in here, like it vaguely looks like you.
Oh,
I
that
don't
guy.
think it's you.
No, 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 no. Because I know the people standing behind me. There was three brothers. Shneir Zalman and his two brothers were standing. So I was actually not
Well, I
standing next to
mean,
him.
these guys look like they're brothers. They very
No, 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 no. I would. I don't really. I can't really find myself. So I don't know what I look like. Anyway, this Thursday night, Friday is Rosh Chodesh Kislev. Chodesh Kislev is a huge holiday in Lubavitch. In 1977, when the Rebbe had his heart attack, he went home. Rosh Chodesh Kislev in 1970 from Simchas Torah until Rosh Chodesh Kislev, and it's a great day of thanksgiving to Hashem and a great Farbrengen and Baruch Hashem. The Rebbe lives on within his shluchim, within all the people that are influenced by him and his teachings, and we yearn to not have to remember scenes with the Rebbe, but to be together with the Rebbe with the coming of Mashiach. Amen, mamish now.
Amen. And with that, thank you so much for listening to episode 135 of the Pos-cast for Rabbi Shmuel Posner. We will see you next week.